All right, let's talk about the SAT reading section. The part everyone dreads. Well, we're going to flip the script on it today. Forget seeing it as this huge, scary obstacle. I want you to start thinking about it like a game. And you know what? It's a game you can absolutely win because it has rules, it has patterns. And once you know them, you've got a clear shot at victory. So let me ask you this. What if the whole thing isn't about how fast you can read or how many big words you know? Seriously, what if it's actually just a big logic puzzle? A system that once you get it, you can totally master. Well, here's the secret. It is a logic puzzle, and that's exactly what we're here for. Think of this as your official playbook. We're going to arm you with all the strategies, the right mindset, so you can walk into that test feeling confident, maybe even a little excited. Okay, here's our game plan. First, we'll size up the challenge. Then we'll map out the game board itself, the test structure. We'll learn the plays, meaning the question types. Then we get to the fun part, your winning strategy. We'll also cover how to dodge those sneaky traps the test makers set. And finally, we'll put it all together so you can walk out of here an SAT expert. Let's do this. All right, first things first, let's talk about the real challenge here. So many people get this wrong. They think it's a race, a speed reading contest, but it's absolutely not. It's really a test of logic, just wearing a reading test costume. It's all about critical thinking. And this really gets to the heart of it. The SAT isn't trying to trip you up on some tiny random detail. Nope, it's testing one main thing. Can you find the author's main point and back it up with evidence from the text? It's all about real understanding, not just flying through the words. Okay, next section. We're decoding the test structure. You got to know the game board before you can play, right? So here are the stats, the basic layout. You've got 65 minutes on the clock. In that time, you need to tackle 52 questions. And those are all based on 5 different passages. Right away, you can see pacing is going to be key. And don't worry, we'll get into that. And here's the thing. The passages aren't random. They're totally predictable. You're always going to see some literature, something from history or social studies, and a science passage. And pretty often, they'll throw in a science one with some charts or graphs, or even a pair of passages that you have to compare. So this means you need 2 different ways of thinking. With a single passage, it's like you're just listening to one person make their case. You're focused on their main idea, their tone, all the details. But with paired passages, now it's a conversation. Your job is to figure out the relationship between these 2 voices. Where are they on the same page? Where do they totally disagree? How do their ideas connect? Okay, we know the game board. Now let's learn the plays. The SAT is super repetitive with its questions. Once you can spot the type of question they're asking, you can just plug in the right strategy and boom, you solve it every single time. Let's dive in with one of the trickiest ones, inference questions. You'll know them when you see words like suggests, implies, or infers. These can feel tough because the answer isn't just sitting there in the text waiting for you. You have to be a bit of a detective and connect the dots using the clues the author gives you. So how do you crack these? It's a simple 3-step attack plan. Step 1, hunt down the evidence. Go back to the passage and find the exact lines that relate to the question. Step 2, get rid of the crazy options. Any answer choice with extreme words like always, never, impossible, just cross them out. They're almost always wrong. And step 3, and this is the most important part, stick to the text. The right answer is the one that's most supported by the passage. Don't make huge logical jumps. The safest bet is the best bet. Okay, next up, vocabulary and context. Now listen up because this is not a regular vocab test. You don't need to be a walking dictionary. The SAT has this little trick where it takes a word you totally know, but uses it in a kind of weird or specific way. Your only job is to figure out its meaning in that one sentence. And the strategy for this is super straightforward, but it works like a charm. First, read the sentence where the word is. Then read the sentence right before it and right after it to get the full picture. Then just try plugging in each answer choice. Whichever one fits the best and keeps the sentence's original meaning, well, that's your winner. Easy. Okay, time for the main event, your winning game plan. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. This is the central strategy that's going to bring calm to the chaos for every single passage. Here it is, the golden rule. Find the main idea first. Before you even glance at the questions, figure out what the author's trying to say. What's their main point? Once you have that locked in, it's like an anchor. Every single question becomes easier to answer because you can weigh the options against that main idea. This one hack will save you from getting lost down a rabbit hole of confusing details. Trust me. Now, to pull this off, you've got to be a good manager of your time. Let's do the math. 65 minutes, 5 passages, that breaks down to about 13 minutes per passage. That's your target. Think of it as a personal timer. If you look up and you spent 20 minutes on one passage, you know you've got to pick up the pace. All right, time to talk defense. You got to know your opponent's moves.